Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. We'll have a bit of a chat about what's been going on over the last couple of days or so from a news perspective while I go for a walk along this part of the coast. This video is going up today instead of a live stream, and let's be honest, the views here are a lot better than from my room at home. So let's go for a walk and have a chat. Now firstly, we'll get a bit of a vibe of what things are like in this part of the country. Anybody who's been to this city will know where I am, but for those of you that don't know this part of Spain, I'm in the city of A Coruña, which is in the northwest, and this is the emblematic beach, Riazor Beach, and over there is the football stadium where later today there's going to be not really an important game of football because the local team here, Deportivo, is no longer in the first division. In fact, I think they are in one of the inferior divisions here in Spain. Now it's around 10:30 a.m. People are out and about. A lot of tourism in this city. Some of the big hotels are not far away. We can see one of the main hotels up there. And the other type of architecture that we have in this city, and lots of people doing exercise, trying to keep fit after all of the lovely food that you eat in this part of Spain and all of the drink. You have to get the calories off, and exercise is one way to do it. So what's been happening? Well, we'll get the political news out of the way first, and PM Sanchez is on the front foot. As we know, he wants to be re-elected soon. He's trying to get the support in Parliament to get re-elected. And yesterday in Granada, he said that his government or his way of thinking is the only way for the country to move forward. And he's confident that he will be re-elected as Prime Minister in about a month's time, if he can get the support, of course, of Catalonian nationalists. So he's confident. And he also said that his main objective, if he gets re-elected for another 4 years, is to bring down Spain's unemployment rate to around 4 or 5%. Sounds a bit optimistic, but he's confident that he can do that. He thinks that the economy is in good shape and unemployment will come down as a result. It has been coming down, as we know. Lots of European funds have been coming into the country, creating jobs, but according to some sectors, things aren't as rosy as it appears. And some people are questioning whether Mr. Sanchez is telling the truth and if the Spanish economy is going as well as people think. But what I will say, after having spent a night in this town, last night it was very, very busy. Lots of people out and about spending money in the local economy, restaurants, bars, and the like. So if you came here and thought that this city was a reflection of the Spanish economy, then you might think that it's going okay. Now, another piece of news that has been dominating the press recently relates to the royal family, the Spanish royal family. There are 4 members in that royal family. If the court royal family, that is, you have the king, the queen, and their 2 daughters. And one of the daughters, of course, is the next in line for the crown. And she is currently doing her military service because it's a characteristic here in Spain, as in other countries, that the royal family do military service. So she's at the military academy in Zaragoza, which is where the military has that academy, and she's been there for the last few months training and going up through the ranks, no doubt. She starts off at the bottom, but by the time she finishes, she will have a different rank. And one day, when she becomes Queen of Spain, she will be the commander of the armed forces. That is her role in life, as the current king, Felipe, is the head of the armed forces too. He has the rank of general. But anyway, yesterday she swore her allegiance to the Spanish flag. At the final ceremony, I think, the royal family was there, and it was a big day for that young lady. She's had quite an international education. She went to school, I think, in Wales, maybe Ireland, not sure, I think it was Wales. So she obviously speaks different languages, so a good education she has had, preparing to take over from her father if he resigns or abdicates, which, as we know, is what happened to the last king, Juan Carlos, and that's the reason why Felipe is in power, because his father abdicated because of different scandals. And he is also making the news at the moment because of a court case that he had in the UK with a woman called Corina Larsen. She was suing him for various reasons, and apparently the British courts have thrown out this case. So good news for Juan Carlos. Now, I don't want to go too much into the history of the royal family here in Spain. You can go into the history of Spain and look up at some of the ups and downs of the royal family over the years. But the last 10 years have been a difficult time for the Spanish royal family. Scandal after scandal after scandal, and it led to the self-exile of that former king, Juan Carlos. So he currently lives in Abu Dhabi. He comes back to Spain every now and again to participate in sailing regattas. In fact, I think he's been 2 or 3 times to Sanchez this year, which is a coastal resort just down the coast from where I am currently, also in Galicia. So he pops in there every now and again to say hello to the family and also to take part in sailing races. Is he going to come back to Spain anytime soon, the former king? Nobody knows. There is talk about it, but I think if Mr. Sanchez and company get into power for another 4 years, he will still be persona non grata in this country. And he's getting on, so he might not live out his final days here in Spain unless the government sentiment changes towards him. And the final thing I want to talk about today relates to this whole Catalan issue, this fiasco that's happening in Catalonia. As we know, the Catalans hold the key to power in Spain. Other groups do as well, but Mr. Puigdemont, Spain's #1 fugitive, is key in the negotiations. They need his support. He came out the other day, as I mentioned, and said that he's either going to vote yes or no. He's not going to abstain from voting to help Mr. Sanchez in the parliament, only yes or no. And on this subject of Catalonia and some of the discussions we have been having on the matter, I got a comment here in the comment section from a bloke called Paul Stanley, and he said, "I started to watch you during lockdown and enjoyed your posts, but of recent your bias against Catalonia and even your voice tone have become very unpalatable, and it has become very clear you're from the Madrid area. Yes, the situation isn't perfect, but your views have become definitely not impartial, not in capital letters. I'm English, love history and rights of people. All groups have radicals and parts less unpalatable than the majority would like. I'm not going to discuss Catalonia demand for independence here. That's a different version of what I want to mention. What I want is to use Wales/UK as an example to compare with Catalonia/Spain. Both want independence, both have some self-rule, but Wales does not have the rest of the UK wanting to destroy their heritage, history or language. But sadly, central Spain, Madrid want too. This, in a so-called free world, should not and cannot be allowed under any circumstance, and while this is happening, it's just fueling those who want total independence with substantial reasons to fight the fight." That comment from Paul. And he's right about one thing, and it is that I do live in Madrid, so it could have something to do with my opinion on this matter. But all I know is that Spain is a recent country in terms of the current setup. Back in 1978, all of these regions got together and they decided on a constitution that they thought was going to take the country forward for the next who knows how many years, maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 50, maybe 100 or 1,000 years. Nobody knew how long that constitution was going to be in place. However, in the last 10, 15 years, these separatist movements have grown in Spain, people that don't respect the constitution. I'm not sure on the exact amount of people who support these movements. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's 40, maybe even more. I've got no idea. And basically, from what I can work out, people still don't have a clear view of what Spain should be. Should it be a nation of nations, a more federal country, or should it be a solid country controlled from the centre, like France, for example? And when it comes to the example that you give there, the situation in Wales and the UK, the situation even in Scotland and the UK, and the situation with Catalonia here in Spain, Galicia here in Spain, and the Basque Country here in Spain, I don't know, but people tell me that they are a lot different, and that's one of the problems. And we know that political violence is also a problem here. We've seen it in the past with different terrorist groups. For example, Basque terrorists, and we've also seen what Catalan nationalists can do when it comes to violence. So I think the circumstances are different, what happens in the UK than what happens here in Spain, but then again, I'm not an expert on the topic. Let me know your opinion on the matter. Now I'm going to wrap this video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Feel free to leave a comment if you have an opinion on anything that I have spoken about today. If you enjoyed this view, let me know in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.